Hello, one and all, and welcome back to League of Europe Formula 2. We are here for the fourth round of Division 1 for Season 4 of the LOE Formula 2 Championship. We're here today at Singapore there, the Marina Bay circuit. 23 corners, highly technical street track for all these drivers to navigate and tackle. And to help you take through the action tonight, I am Daniel Hogard. Leading the way for comms for Formula 2 this season, and alongside me in the commentary box yet again is James Head. James, how you doing, mate?
Mr. 100%, I think, now in League of Europe Formula 2. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Well, I can't really say it because I was ill one week, aren't I? I'm still Mr. 100%, though. Yeah, just...
Go with it.
Ignore. Just ignore. Yeah, I'm doing really well, Dan. It's going to be a fantastic night's worth of action, of course, here at Singapore at the Marina Bay circuit. There's 23 corners awaiting these guys out on track. Around one of the longest circuits as well on the F2 calendar. Who on earth thought of putting Singapore and Monaco back-to-back would be a wise idea is another thing. But I certainly think in Singapore, we're going to see lap times in qualifying around the 149s, I think, 150 mark for pole position.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned one of the longest tracks on the calendar for lap time wise. Average speed relatively low around here. It's one of the most difficult tracks on the entire calendar, as I'm sure everyone watching is aware of. The walls are ever present, so you can very easily chip off an end plate. Even in these slightly sturdier Formula 2 cars, it's going to be a case of keeping it out of the barriers. And that's really the key for tonight, James, is that other tracks that we've visited so far this season have had a bit more runoff, a bit more leeway. There's no room for error here. You're going to have to be on it 100% of the way through.
You have to be so committed on this lap around here. If you get really close to the barrier, either on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, you will lose an end plate around here. It is guaranteed. So it's going to be fascinating to see how these guys are going to cope with the trials, the tribulations, and the challenges of Singapore. Looking ahead, though, into the drivers' standings and into the team standings as well, it's Toxic who still leads the way on 112 points, with Lando in second on 88, Larkin third on 77, Verstappen in fourth on 73, Rocco in fifth on 68, Chill in sixth on 67, Tenkan in seventh on 61, Campbell in eighth on 56, Miami in ninth on 51, and then a big gap down to Matthias, Dylan and Sweetcrown, all tied for 10th on 31 points. Noon, he'd be hoping it's not midnight here tonight in 13th on 29th. That's a really bad pun. Really, really bad. M. Short reserve in 14th on 26. I'm never going to live that one down.
Nope.
Ryan in 15th on 24, with Josh in 16th on 21. Nolan in 17th on 16. Zerdimer in 18th on 13. Probably the first pronunciation I've got right for that name this season. Drake in 19th on 7, and Risa, who hasn't appeared at all this season, he's gone AWOL, and he hasn't stopped the last races as well. He's on nil point as well. But Univirtuosi as well, leading the championship in the teams on 168, with High Tech in second on 140, BWT Racelab in third on 128, Dams in fourth on 112, Trident in fifth on 99, Aquamp in sixth on 77, MP Motorsport in 52, Carlin in eighth on 42. Hopefully they won't be having Guinness out on track. Giroux in 9th on 31 and Campos in 10th on 7 points.
That's number 2 for tonight, James. Well done. Oh, what's got into you? But yes, running back through on those standings with the drivers, it's still Toxic, well, nice and clear away. He is podiumed in 5 out of the 6 races so far, and in the race that he didn't get the podium, the China feature race, he started from the back of the grid and he got wing damage throughout the race, so that says a lot about his performance so far. His nearest contender, his nearest competitor all the way throughout this season so far, by quite some margin, has been XL Lando. And while Lando has definitely taken the fight to Toxic, particularly in those feature races, in which he's won 2 of them, his record in the sprint race, where he starts in the midfield, of course, if he's finishing highly in that feature race, leads him to... He has actually scored pretty lowly in some of those races, and that's where Toxic's championship advantage, the vast majority of it, has come from.
Yeah, I think honestly Toxic has been just that consistent, especially in the sprint races. You saw last time out in the in the feature race, sorry. Or is it? No, in the sprint race. I'm right. 18. He won in the sprint race last time out did Toxic. Lando had only scored 3 points out on track, and looking behind that, he scored consistently more points in the sprint race than Lando, his nearest pursuer. So it's going to be fascinating to see how that is really going to unfold out on track. I'm hoping Lando as well can channel his inner Norris, his Lando Norris, rather than a Chuck Norris out on track. That's the third one.
That's a better one. I'll give you that one. Well done there. Yeah, it's certainly that championship battle brewing up, and behind that, it's very, very tight, very, very closely competitive throughout the field. Then, particularly, I'd say from third all the way down to ninth. There's a very tight battle going on in that championship. Can you see any of those drivers as we I hope we're riding up sometime soon, because we are kind of sitting around in the lobby right now, a couple of minutes late, unfortunately. But there's a couple of drivers there, say Campbell, for example, who podiumed in the first race, probably came into the season as one of the favourites, and hasn't exactly performed since then. The circumstances haven't quite fallen his way. Do you think that any of those drivers in that pack could have the speed and the consistency to work their way up to the top two? Do you think it's going to be a battle between Toxic and Lando, or even Toxic just running away with it for the third season in a row?
I honestly think, looking at Campbell's performances, he scored so highly, finished third in that first race of the season in the feature race, way back in the first round of the championship. He has then scored less than 10 points on every single feature race and every single sprint race since then. So Campbell, I think, is going to be the one to watch. Singapore is made for a track like him. If it's anything like Monaco and like Spain, or like Monaco when he won by 20 seconds from Montana in Division 1, he might be the one to watch here tonight. But don't rule out the top contenders, Toxic, Lando, Larkin. I will hand over to you, though. It's better get going.
Yeah, back to your point on Campbell. He's won 2 Division 1 races on the F1 side of things, and they were at Monaco and Singapore. What are our next 2 rounds? Monaco and Singapore. So he could certainly has a chance to gain momentum, but it's all to play for, and anyone can prevail here. These next 2 rounds that are probably going to throw up a lot of unpredictability, a lot of surprise results, I suspect. Just the drivers that are staying out of trouble are going to really shine through here as we now finally get loaded in here as qualifying about to get underway. And you can see everyone raring to go there, the pit lane buzzing, and we can get out on the lap then. I'm going to come to you quickly, James, so before we get into qualifying, we know that Toxic and Lando have pretty much dominated the pole positions. Toxic with 2, Lando with 1, but who do you reckon is going to come away with pole here and have a big advantage come the race?
Honestly, I think Campbell. I think Campbell's going to put in such a consistent lap here. I'm putting him on the spot. He will get pole position.
Well, let's see if he can come through with that then, as we're just waiting on Zoudema to load in, and we can get this quali session underway. He is really keeping us waiting though. There we go. We're away. We're going to follow a QVR Chill who had a very strong round last time out of China. Can he build on that here at Singapore? We're over the line now to kick off this one-shot qualifying session in a turn 1 then. Following the high-tech driver, clipping the 8 curb on the inside. Got to use as much of the track as you can through turn 2 to open up turn 3. Get a strong exit then. Going through the remainder of the first sector then. Through the kink. All 4 now heading up into turn 5 then, all about using as much of the track as you can without running into the wall and exit. Good lane though from Chell. He's going to carry it on then and keep that momentum through. DRS now open through the kink of turn 6, and then you break into Memorial Corner at turn 7 there. You can see dead in the second gear, trying to rev it out on the exit, all about carrying the speed through, and now onto the brakes. There's a lot of curb on the inside there at turn 8 then. Just keeps it out of the wall and then sweeping back. You can see him running over that white line to maximise the width of the track. Then the high-tech powers out now towards the middle part of the lap. Here we are now into turn 10, the Singapore Slig. He runs it through and now gears up for turn 11, heavy on that curb. You got to try and use as much of the track as you can, almost penning a throw. Going through turn 12 and then braking into turn 13 at the hairpin then. In second gear, looking for good traction on the way out and opening up that DRS. Now you're preparing down the short straight towards turn 14 in the third sector. The second sector split there for Chile. He's currently in that midfield fight. Good traction though, coming off of turn 14. King of 15 in a difficult braking zone here in a turn 16. Now you've got to try and open up this exit for turn 17. Carrying the speed through on the exit is so crucial here. And then on the brakes yet again for this technical, tight final part of the lap under the grandstands at turn 18. Struggling for traction on the exit of turn 19. Then you got to try and run it up to the wall through turns 20 and 21 then. All bit of momentum through the eggs and now into the final two corners. A turn 22 and 23 and up to the line. Who's going to grab that pole position? It's going to be Toxic yet again by a slim margin over his teammate Campbell. And just like in Bahrain, just like in Russia, as those two dominate the top of the timesheets, another Univirtuosi 1-2 here in qualifying, James.
Brilliant stuff from Toxic. 600th of a second though. Campbell, I was just willing them on to try and get pole position and try and get prediction right so far this season, but that really did not happen. But Toxic out on top from Campbell in second, Verstappen in third, Chill in fourth, High-Tech 3-4 as well. Out on track, really good stuff from them. Sweet Crown fifth, Matthias in sixth, Rocco seventh, Zerdimer in eighth, Miami ninth, Josh in 10th. Top 8 are separated by just over a second. Tinkan in 11th, Nolan in 12th, Noon in 13th, definitely hoping it's midnight out on track, Larkin in 14th, and Dylan in 15th position, both getting invalid lap times. I'm actually surprised that 13 drivers managed to get a full lap time in because it is so difficult to pick up an uninvalidated lap around this track.
I don't think we mentioned it so far, but Lando isn't here tonight. We haven't actually noted that. But yes, and the nearest championship contender to Toxic isn't present tonight, and it gives Toxic a great chance with pole position and a track where it's pretty difficult to overtake, it must be said. He's in with a really good shot, but Campbell hasn't really laid down, and I wouldn't expect him to lay down an second fiddle to him. He is going to put up that fight. That battle in a turn one is going to be so intriguing. But Toxic, my oh my, he's just driven, I'd say, better than ever so far this season. He's barely put a foot wrong. A couple of dodgy moves at Russia gave him a grid penalty for China, but he recovered well, even came away from that race weekend with a win, and he's continuing to go from strength to strength with another pole position, a third one of the season for the reigning two-time champion. He is on an absolute roll at the moment, and obviously as well with those High-Tech drivers who, as it stands, High-Tech are by quite some margin the nearest competitors to Univirtuosi in that Constructors' Championship. They have a good run here because they're sat right behind them on the grid, and if there's mistakes, if there's any tangles between the front two drivers, it allows those two High-Techs to follow through and maybe snatch up some points for that Constructors' battle.
28 points separating them both coming into tonight. Univirtuosi, of course, 1-2 with Toxic Campbell. Verstappen and Chill, third and fourth for the High-Tech team. Looking at the last round, certainly, High-Tech picked up 42 points. I believe they picked up 1-2 in the feature race last time around. Univirtuosi only scored 17, but then a bit of a role reversal. Univirtuosi scored 27, High-Tech scored 13, so it was a great night last week I should say, for High-Tech compared to Univirtuosi. Is that going to translate, I wonder, into the racing? Well, we'll just have to wait and find out. Super soft compounder tyres for everyone bar Larkin on a set of soft compounder tyres. Larkin down there in 14th position. He was, of course, one of the drivers that picked up an invalid lap when looking quite consistent towards the top 5 before he invalidated. I think it was coming out of turn 14 where he invalidated out on track on his lap. But Toxic, Campbell, Verstappen, Chill, wonder who's going to win. Normally, around Singapore, I would say pole position will probably win it, but you never know.
Hey, you certainly never know in a track that's thrown up such unpredictable action in League of Europe in the past. That battle though between the Univirtuosis and the High-Tech is going to be very interesting. Certainly with QVR Chill, who had a pretty miserable time of it at the opening round, but he's adapted much better since then. He's picked up a podium in China in a feature race. He's looked better and better throughout the season, and now he's in with a shot fighting with some of the top drivers in the league. Sweet Crown as well, in behind him, has looked much better. He looked very pacey in the last round in China, but unfortunately only scored 1 point across the whole round through a lot of circumstances outside of his control. He'll be searching for more, and he has a run at the top drivers. I think, well, it could come back to this. It could come down, though, this race, to those old top 3 that fought for the Season 2 Championship. Toxic, Campbell, Verstappen. Let's see how they're going to shape up there. Toxic has that advantage off the line. Clean side of the grid as well. Can Campbell, though, maybe jump him off the line? We're going to have to wait and see. I'm going to come to you, James, quickly before we line up on the grid. Who's your top 3 prediction for this opening feature race of the evening?
I think Toxic will win as opposed to my prediction for qualifying, so I've got a bit of a reverse psychology moment here. Toxic for the win, I'm going to go Campbell for second, and honestly, I'm going to go Verstappen for third. I can't see that top 3 being beat. Division 2, by the way, is going to be live very shortly. Mike's just giving us extra viewers, I think, at this stage.
We appreciate it, mate, because he has actually beaten us for viewing numbers in general throughout the season. But we'll see if that's going to get carried over tonight. To the racing, though, we are about to get underway because for the Singapore feature race, we have 5 lights. And we're away then. Who's got the best start for the front of the grid? 2 Uni Virtuosi is going to battle towards the first corner here. But it looks like Toast is going to maintain a lead. Great start for Verstappen. Verstappen cuts in front of Campbell. Going into the first turn and leads the way then. In second place, just in front of Campbell behind him there. Chow fading off an attack from Sweet Crown and Matt. Moving past 86 Rocco in the background then. It comes to the pressure. But a strong start from Exhale Miami who runs it around the outside of turn 5. He's going to get squeezed out there surely. He's still trying to carry on the fight as they all duck and dive. Looking for drafts behind each other. You can see them battling further down the grid as well. You can see Larkin battling with Zonema back there in the Carlin and the HWA, but up at the front you can see them still going at it as Larkin gets a great start now to the inside. Nolan against Zonema, who had a better qualifying performance than he has in some time. And he will hold on to that 11th place with his teammate XL Noon trying to follow through turn 9. He gets squeezed up towards the wall. There's no one. He's not giving this up though. And he runs side by side again now. Heading into turn 10. Surely not right out. And he gets shoved off the track by Zonema. But he runs it down the inside again. Contact between them. He got run out of space and Nolan spinning to the back of the field. He gave it a great effort, but maybe, just maybe, going in to turn 11 at that acute angle, maybe he should have yielded, but now he's down into last place then. Better disappointment from Nolan there.
Yeah, only one person to blame there, and that was Nolan, because Zerdema had the right of way of the corner. Nolan just tried to hang on in there a little bit too much, and unfortunately he's down in 15th position. Tin Can as well as teammates in 14th. But Toxic got that all-important break. He's 8/10 clear from Verstappen in second, Campbell third, Chillen fourth. Sweetground's had a really good start as well. He's in fifth, Matthias in sixth. Main gainer though up the field, Larkin on that set of soft compound tyre, really beginning to excel out on track. There was no pun intended there at all. But Larkin is on the back of Josh in Miami. Just clipped the wall there on the right side end plate. I wonder if there was a little bit of damage there, but a 155.2 from Toxic leading the way. Let the graphics glitch commence, but Larkin still on the back of Josh. He is making really good progress through this field because softs are better than supers at this early stage.
Yeah, these super soft tyres, really the grip just doesn't quite last for as long as you might think. So Larkin going on the attack that he has Josh. He has his teammate Miami just in front as well, so we'll see what progress can be made then. Oh, there's a bit of contact with the wall, I think, for the pair of them then. Larkin with a good run though, as he chases down Josh, heading towards turn 7 there to the outside line. He's gonna go there. Can he break a little bit later? Can he run the long way around? He might be able to, you know. Larkin stays alongside, now has the inner superior line, going into turn 8 that gets pinched onto the curb. Josh running up towards the wall, but he's still hanging on in there now. Heading into turn 9, round the outside. Larkin, does he have a bit more grip out there on the exit? He's gonna pull through. Brilliant from Larkin, making great progress on these soft tyres. Gets the move done on Josh. Josh had to yield it in. Great stuff from Larkin. He's flying at the early point in this race.
He really is, and now Josh and Zerdema right on the back of as well, and Noon catching right into the back of Zerdema. Dylan Tinkan not too far away either, so this is going to really try and punish themselves really for 9th place, finish out on track. But Larkin, great move there, great driving as well by Josh. He tried to defend it, but Larkin just with the superior pace, the superior traction as well on that set of soft compound tyres, really excelling once again out on track. And now he can hunt down his teammate just in front of him. Toxic still leading from Verstappen in second. Looks like the front two, though, beginning to break away from Campbell, who's struggling. And has Campbell got left side end plate damage? I think he has. No, he hasn't. It's fine.
Well, it might be too much to pick up on our spectator cameras, but because he is struggling out there. For a driver that very nearly ended qualifying with pole position, he is losing a bit of contact with the front two. Verstappen, though, is really coming on strongly. Fastest lap of the race, and now he's hunting down the race leader out there on the track. Verstappen already has a race win this season. He's looking for another one here. Toxic under pressure in the early part of this race. Even though Lando's not here tonight, he's still going to have to fight for this one. Verstappen will have DRS to his benefit now as he opens it up, heading underneath the tunnel. So Verstappen on the charge, on the move early on, as further down the field as well. Looks like Matthias is lining up Sweet Crown and chasing him down, going down towards turn 7. Won't quite make the move as Zonema further back is going to get the move done on Josh with DRS. Gets it straight through. Josh using another place. Zonema moving forward in the top 10. Can he try and chase down some of the cars ahead, because the gaps are already beginning to open out there?
Yeah, Josh had a real snap of oversteer, and that's why Zerdimer got through with a superior run coming out of turn 4. Got the move done halfway down the straight. Josh just had that snap of oversteer, and now he's got Noon to deal with on the back as well. Looks like his tyres are just blistering slightly on that rear right compounder tyre especially. That is the one that really takes the hit around this track. You might not think it, but it really does. Toxic though leading across the Anderson Bridge once again for the 3rd time. He's leading from Verstappen in 2nd, Campbell in 3rd, but Chill very close to the back of Campbell. Campbell has definitely either got slight damage on that car, or he's just struggling with those tyres.
Yeah, maybe he just spiked in there, spinning up the tyres, potentially putting a bit too much stress on him. Immediately Toxic penalty, and that is vital with Verstappen so close by. He can try and hang on in there, but he's not losing out to any other drivers because Campbell really struggling for pace out there. I think. Well, I don't think he will have spiked up the tyres this early on, but either way, he is really struggling for speed. Childo made a bit of an error. Campbell coming in already. So Campbell is extended. He runs wide going through the pit entry and has to bail out of it now. Dives into the pit lane, but he got that a little bit wrong. Now let's keep an eye out on this pit stop. If there's a new front wing in play, he goes in then. He's going to put on a set. Oh, the wet tyres is going on that car. What on earth is going on here?
Campbell's put on a set of wets. Goodness me, that is absolutely disastrous. It's not raining out on track, unless it is, and we're just blind. Sweet Crown though was on the back of Matthias. Matthias, I think, just got the move done on Sweet Crown, running down in towards turn 4, now through 5 and 6, and now Matthias is going to hang on to the position, and he hangs on 4th position. Larkham was trying to look through down in towards turn 1, didn't get quite the move on his teammate, but he is through, and he's up into 7th. Campbell, on a set of wet compounder tyres, I'm afraid to say, I think he's put the wrong set on, and he's going to be absolutely livid with himself.
Did he do this last season in Division 1? I'm trying to think there, because I don't think it's the first time he's made this error. Rather peculiar error. He's going to have to do an entire lap on wet tyres. What on earth?
He's probably selected it too quick. He's probably tried to select through the tyres. He's done it too quick, and he's gone onto a set of wet, and he's spun the car. And that is absolutely disastrous. Now he's got right tail end plate damage. If he didn't have it already, now he has, and he rejoins track just behind Tin Can. But Verstappen right on the back of Toxic for the lead.
Yeah, Verstappen looks inspired so far in this race. Look at how close he's getting. Maybe these tires start to go up, but he gets a penalty himself, does Verstappen. And so the playing field is levelled. They have a big enough gap that they're not losing out. They're Chill 4 seconds behind after presumably getting held up a little bit by the stricken Campbell, who now runs last place after that bizarre mistake then to go for wet tires. We are seeing pit stops at the front there. Toxic in, Verstappen stays out. So split strategies up at the front. And Chill, of course, following his teammate through actually, so he does not go for a different strategy. And I think more than anything, that's a very early stop for Toxic. He's trusting in these soft tires, and he wants to get off those super softs. So maybe he was already starting to feel the effects of the grip then, and you saw Verstappen really threatening him. And so Toxic maybe just got the tires a bit too hot then, got about that temperature window, and he's lost out. But now with more grip in those tires, surely the undercut's going to be quite potent here.
And look at the gap he's going to have as well, because that is Tin Can just coming through turn 21 out on track. Toxic at the end of the pit lane. He has got about 15 seconds to Tin Can to play with out on track. Zerdimer right on the back of Miami. Nearly mispronounced his name, but now he's down the inside of Miami. Can he get the move done? The BWT race lab against Zerdimer's car, of course, and Zerdimer in the Carlin, trying to go all the way around the outside, and I think he's just about done it. Zerdimer is through, down the inside, up towards the Singapore Sling. Miami's going to try and stay on in there. Both XL teammates, of course, out on track normally, but Zerdimer, given right away the corner, has got the move done through the Singapore Sling, and he's through, and he's up into 7th.
Yeah, best we've seen from Zerdimer in a while, actually. What has been a trying season for him so far. Sitting well down in the standings for Carlin. Penalty for Tin Can then. So he is going to maybe lose out quite a bit then. Obviously going for an undercut himself. Coming in on the same lap as Toxic. I think we're going to be seeing some pit stops on this lap. We're seeing some cars bunching up as well. Rocco chasing down Sweet Crown and up the road as well. Matthias having one of his best showings so far this season. Of course, he did have a great, he had a great result last time out in China, and he's continuing that forward. Further down the field, we've got, I think we've got Dylan making a mistake then. He drops down behind his XL mate, XL Noon, and so Dylan having a really tough time of it out there on the road. He's actually let through by Noon. I think there may be an incident down there. Noon's maybe got involved in an incident. Verstappen and Matthias come in, and Sweet Crowd busy pit lane in there. A lot of cars in, and we're going to see now if Verstappen has somehow managed to overcut Toxic, or how much of an advantage just Toxic got for pitting that one lap earlier.
But then, let's have a look at Larkin as well, because I know he's 5 seconds off the back of Chill, but this is the big indicator, I think. Is the softs now working better than the supers out on track? And it's going to be fascinating with that respect. Josh and Zerdimer are going to be fighting for 3rd and 4th as well out on track. Toxic has got Verstappen by quite a comfortable margin, about a second and a half, I think, coming out the pit lane. But now Zerdimer on the back of Josh. This is the closest battle out on track. He now switches MP Motorsport against Carlin as we run down towards turn 6. But Zerdimer is going to be let through here, I think, by Josh, and he should get the move done. He has got the move done. Zerdimer's through and he's up into 3rd. Really good in terms of the overtaking tonight. And I don't think we've seen much contact at all.
Yeah, it's been pretty clean, but look at this, further down the field then. We got a battle there, Miami looking around the outside of Tin Can. Can't get that at turn 5, but he will get a better drive out on the exit, but he is not opening that DRS. Maybe he's got a failure. He's still low. Powers the inside line at turn 6, sweeping side by side. Now we'll have the run through, and Tin Can had to let that one go. So through goes Miami, does run a bit wide indeed, but I don't think he'll get fought back on there. As you can see, Noon moving past Nolan, who tried to go for a mega undercut after that spin at the start, but he couldn't hold back the Carlin. Noon up in 13th place, not the best lap, and not the best race, I should say, for either of these two guys. And you mentioned Larkin Sauce coming into play. Well, this lap so far, he's a few tenths faster than the race leader Chill, whose tyres must be going off. He'll probably be heading into the pits at the conclusion of this 6th lap.
Yep, 4 tenths of a second. He has gained 5 tenths of a second now on Chill. It was about 5 seconds, 5.1. Chill just caught the curve there through turn 20, through 21. Whoa. Oh my god, he nearly got close to the wall. Jesus Christ, Chill. Very close to the wall, but now he's into the pit lane. Let's hope he doesn't speed come into the pit lane. Puts the pit limiter on, and he's into the pit lane. Larkin continues. Zerdimer is also into the pit lane, as is Josh, as is Dylan. So all of the super soft runners are now into the pit lane. Out on track, and Josh has actually spun, coming through turn 22, going into the pit lane. I think he's got caught on the wall on the inside. The car on the rear left has been spun around, and that's what happened there.
Oh, that's disastrous for Josh. He's going to have wing damage as well. That's hugely unfortunate in this race. I'm watching Chill coming out the pit lane. He was just in front of Matthias, but Matthias pitted that one lap earlier. Is he going to jump in front? They're going to be almost level on the exit. It's Chill spun. Chill's dropped it on the pit exit. Must have just overcooked it. He has got damage, I think, on those cold tires just coming out the pit lane. He got a bit too ambitious on that throw pedal and has spun the car around in what a race that looks so promising. At the very least, a top 5 finish on the cards. Now, suddenly, turns into a lower point scoring position, if that, because he's being chased out by Miami, being chased out by Tin Can, and they're going to have so much more downforce throughout this middle section. Chill, what a costly mistake, and also for High Tech. He had such a good round last time out in China, but that is going to really, that's going to cost him no end in this race. Surely can't hold it back. What's happening up there, James?
No. Nolan into the back of Noon, going down in towards turn 6, very close to a little bit of contact, but Noon still 11th, Nolan still 12th, and I don't think there was any damage on Nolan's car either.
So, Nolan just about getting away with that, and he is clean on that end plate, at least visually, so he can try and renew his attacks on XL Noon. These guys going back and forth in their battle over the 11th and 12th places. You can see, Chill's clouded the wall at the hairpin. He's going to immediately give up that place to Miami, and Tin Can gets up and alongside. Oh my word, Peg 18 maneuver. He goes through on Chill. Chill still fighting into the braking zone. This is one of the most peculiar battles I've seen in a long time. Chill surely going to have to let it go. Does he go later on the brakes? He is still goes to there we go. He finally gets out of it. That is this is the family show. We don't condone these kind of actions, but Tin Can, one way or another, he has got that moved on QVR Chill, who surely will pit at the conclusion of this lap then. Got it for Chill, a race that looks so promising. Now turning well up against it then. He's going to have to pit and he's going to come well down the field.
If you're going to be watching the replay with kids, please tell them to look away at that point, honestly. Zerdimer now on the back of Chill, coming down towards turn 1, and yeah, Chill, so unfortunate. He has stayed out. He's got left side end plate damage. He's got really nothing to lose. I think, honestly, this is more for the team game, because Verstappen's down by 3 seconds on Toxic. Campbell, though, was down in 15th. Chill may as well stay out there, score more points for High Tech, and outscore Univirtuosi and the teams.
Yeah, he's certainly on for that right now, but you said he's going to come under pressure. There's Zenoma, who's been putting an overtaking showcase so far this race, chasing him down, but not near enough. Going into Memorial Corner, he has to sit off the rear, but you can see a bit of a squirreling from the rear end of the high-tech. Zenoma looking to the inside line, is covered off by Chell, and he is going to defend these places as he has every right to, so he's going to fight this all the way through, but that lack of downforce is going to really hurt him through turn 9 and out. Zenoma gets a great run. Is he going to go for it into the Singapore slag? Top end of the slipstream, holds back for the move, though he doesn't want to get too risky. He's going to look to the outside of Chell now. Chell covering off all that, goes all over the curb, gets a penalty on the inside line. You can see the closing speed that Zenoma has, going into the air and looks to the inside line, hangs back. Chell somehow holding it back, but indeed in a turn 14, as you say that though, Chell gets a really good exit coming over turn 13, and I think he has enough in hand. He covers the inside line, and somehow Chell has held back Zenoma, who's made so many effortless overtakes throughout this race, going through 2 sectors of the lap, and the Dutchman really struggling to find a way past the Brit here.
He is, but this is the nature of the track here at Singapore. This is the nature of the beast, where you can't really overtake going through the middle and through the final sector. Sweet Crown just picked up a 3-second time really further up the field. Rocco's chasing Sweet Crown down, but I've got to say, Matthias, I think, has actually overcut Sweet Crown out of the pit lane, and he's trying to chase down Verstappen. He's currently with the Larkin, still yet to come into the pit lane. Matthias is going to be in a P3 position. I never thought I'd be saying that, to be honest. Erdem right on the back of Chill, coming out the final corner. This is surely going to be the move done now for the Dutchman on the Brit. Down the inside, this should be cream of the crop move. But Chill's still there. Chill is still there. Ran the outside through turn 1, now through turn 2, now through turn 3. Zernema is now through. Little bit of elbows out. Chill is still there, though. He does not want to give up without a fight. He is fighting tooth and nail with that left side end plate damage. Look out for Noon as well, catching both of these guys. Zernema and Chill are still side by side. As it ever down in towards turn 6, surely it's going to be the battle of who wants it most. Chill on the outside line, Zernema on the inside line. Chill, I think, is going to have it all the way around the outside. Zernema's on the inside line, and Miami is spun. Miami is spun and crashed out of the race, coming out of turn 6, and I think there's a safety car being deployed. Safety car has been deployed out on track, and Larkin will lead. Toxic in second. What does this do for Larkin? Can he get those supers to the end?
Well, he does have a mandatory pit stop to make, so that's I don't think that's exactly going to be happening. But yeah, my oh my, Miami, a rare mistake then, crashing out of the race, and it does open the doors though for Larkin. He's gonna have the race leaders well within his grasp now. He won't be leading the race, but he'll be much higher up the field than he otherwise would have been, and much closer as well. So this now changes things, and I think once it's all said and done, Matthias will actually have the net race lead as he chases down the cars ahead. You see, full safety car, the field bunches up. This dramatically changes things. Larkin staying out another lap though.
He is staying out another lap, which I'm not surprised in, to be honest, because I don't think the supers can make it from this point. They wear away at like 6-7% a lap around here at Singapore. The softs wear off about 5-6% normally a lap around here in the Formula 2 cars, so no wonder Larkin is staying out. He's got 10 seconds, he's going to be the virtual Burt Marlander essentially out on track. What does he do though? Does he come and pit into the pit lane once the safety car period ends, or does he come into the pit lane this lap, which I'm probably expecting him to be? Noonan's gone past Chill. I think Chill's into the pit lane. Yeah, Chill is into the pit lane. Nolan's into the pit lane as well, to probably put on a set of super soft compounded tyres in that Arc Grand Prix car. So Chill in the high-tech, Nolan in the Arc Grand Prix, and he'll be hoping to try and get up through the field. Josh is also into the pit lane. Wouldn't be surprised if Campbell comes into the pit lane either.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out then, as the Univirtuosi has a newfound opportunity in this race. He was out of it entirely before. Now he's got a bit of a fighting chance again. You can see the difference in the strategy choices here. Auger Nolan going for the rather safe bet, and in my opinion the sensible choice for soft tyres. Chill, much more ambitious I'd say, going for the super softs. He said that these tyres will struggle to get to the end, but he will have a lap or two on the safety car. As I say that though, he probably wouldn't have much time to really save up those tyres, because the field's gonna bunch up essentially just before we actually get this on the way. So Chill's not gonna benefit much. Campbell actually stayed out and decided not to go into the pit lane, so he carries on out there on the track. He's gonna be a little while before these guys actually reel in the race. So, there's a pretty big gap out there. Still, Larkin leads the way. You suspect the pit lane will he'll go to the pit lane on this lap. Childo, I think, is the interesting strategy call. He will have some pace in the early laps, but those tyres will essentially be ice skates by the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, definitely. I think, honestly, Chill's tyres, on a set of super soft compound tyre, they're going to be shot towards the end of the race. The only advantage he has, if the safety car stays out at least another lap or two, those tyres are not going to be at the same rate as Larkin has came into the pit lane underneath the safety car. So that is the first prediction I've made correctly so far tonight. Larkin in, onto a set of super soft compound tyre, he will go on. Of course, it's about 6 seconds a pit stop now around here at Singapore with these F2 cars. It's normally about 2.5, 3 seconds sometimes in the Formula 1 cars, especially on this game. But Larkin in on a set of super softs, he is going to be in a real dire situation, I think, because he's got Noon, he's got Dylan, and he's got Zerdimer and Tin Can ahead of him. So we've got XL Boys 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. They're literally going for consistency now.
They occupy the lower end of that top 10 entirely, and it does beg the question as to whether they're going to fight Larkin or if they're going to try and keep last season's championship contender, second place finisher in the championship, behind. Hopefully we get back to racing on this lap. As I say that, though, we're still waiting because particularly Josh and Campbell are some way off the rear of the field. Of course, Josh going for an alternate strategy, pitting, and of course Campbell with that. We less said about his strategy calls, the better in this race. But running down to 14th place, so we might not get back to green flag racing on this lap. I hope we do, certainly. Toxic still coming through, and under normal conditions, you'd have a clean run throughout that entire last sector from turn 14 all the way towards turn 23. You have so many options here, and so if the safety car is out for another lap, Toxic will be able to dictate so much, and Verstappen's going to have to keep on guessing as to where Toxic's going to go, because Toxic has a huge arsenal of weapons to use on this restart.
Verstappen has got to outjump Toxic off this safety car restart if it is going to come in this lap. It's probably going to be on the exit around this point here where the safety car will come in. It'll be out of these next two corners through 17. It'll be here where the safety car does come into the pit lane, and Toxic will begin to back up the pack. But as I say that, it looks to me as if we're going to go through 18, 19, and then maybe it comes into the pit lane. No, looks like we're staying out another lap.
Yes, indeed. So, we're going to have to bide our time here, folks, as to when we're going to get back to that green flag racing. Of course, everyone from 1st down to 9th on pretty similar tyres condition-wise and compound-wise, so we probably won't be seeing many changes then. The real question is, in that pack behind, particularly Larkin, Nolan, Chill, Josh, Campbell may struggle a bit more because he has got older tyres on him, and we're still waiting for those guys to reel us in. So we'll see how that is going to go down, but I think Larkin is definitely going to be the driver to watch. He did make some pretty spectacular overtakes in the early part of the race. Now he's going to have to do it all again with a tyre advantage, but probably only a tyre advantage for a few laps before they start going off again. He will have an opportunity though behind this safety car to kind of save them up a bit more, so he has a bit more rubber on him by the end of the race. Toxic has older tyres than Verstappen. Verstappen, of course, pit a lap later, and as to how Toxic was able to get a pretty decent lead on him. But even with that advantage, Toxic looked a lot more comfortable on these soft tyres than he did the super softs, and even with a lap more on them, he was still able to slowly but surely pulling away from Verstappen and establish a solid gap up at the front. So we'll see if he can do it again, because Toxic looks very, very quick on these soft compounded tyres.
He does, but the big advantage, I think, for Verstappen and for Matthias and Speedcrown and Rocco as well, all of those guys are on a lap fresher tyres compared to Toxic. Now, we're talking about 6% a lap fresher tyres, so you're going to see, towards the end of the race, Verstappen's Matthias tyres come alive, where Toxic's might necessarily just be beginning to fall off the cliff. So it's going to be one of those scenarios where Toxic has got to judge this start to perfection. Verstappen has also got to judge the start to perfection. But Matthias, he can just stay in behind, wait, and even pick up a win out on track. The last time I saw Matthias win was, well, never.
Oh my word, why are you going to do the man like that? Now, we're going to, as I mentioned then, it's that option that Toxic has going for him, but he doesn't want to go too early here, otherwise he's going to catch the safety car before it reaches the pit lane. Toxic taking him at a decent enough speed here. We'll see when he chooses to. I reckon going through turns 20 and 21 may well be his choice of moves. Is he going to try and spring a surprise and go a little bit earlier? He is flirting with that throttle pedal, picking up the speed a little bit. Then we now reach turn 20. He's holding them back. Then he's going quite late with this. Then Verstappen's ready to go then through the exit. He's still going to have penalties as Nolan gets a penalty. He's running this right to the line as Toxic here, waiting the moment, and now he punches away of a turn 23 and a great run for Sweet Crown. Actually, he draws local by side. Matthias already looking at the inside lane, going into turn 1. Can he beat Motorsport car get through? The side by side through turn 1, through turn 2. He does have to get out of though. Matthias critically holds on to that third place, and runs Verstappen draws alongside Toxic. Toxic with a mistake, and Verstappen snatches the race lead on the restart. Then mistake from Toxic at such a critical time. Can he fight back here on the run down towards turn 70? Pulls to the inside line. That's going to turn to the outside line for Memorial Corner. Can he be late on the brakes? Yes, he can. Uni Virtuosi against High Tech. Verstappen squeezes him to the curb on the outside line. Has his nose in a turn 8. Then Toxic back down the inside line. Nothing between them. Can Verstappen hold on to this and see it through? He gets his nose in front going through turn 9. Good exit from Toxic. He's going to try and fight back. Looking to the Singapore Sling. Can't get through. Verstappen critically has the race lead. Matthias is still with them though. If he stays with them, he wins the race. But Verstappen, what a crucial move to get past Toxic. Toxic, great restart. But that mistake's cost him dear. Now he has to fight back against Verstappen if he wants to win this race, James.
Yeah, Dylan and Zerdam are going side by side across the Anderson Bridge section of all corners to go through. The Anderson Bridge section have managed to pull it off, and Dylan has managed to get the move done. Through up to 9th he goes. Zerdam was under pressure from Nolan, and Chiller's down the inside as well. On that fresh set of super softs, he's beginning to mince his way through the field. Somebody else that's mincing his way through the field, that was Larkin. He's on the back of Tin Can and of Rocco. He's already up into 7th. He was 10th, now up to 7th. What progress can he make through this field as Tin Can goes very wide in towards the grandstand section through 18 and under the bridge through 19 and then through 20 and 21 through the underpass, but Larkin has got quicker tyres. It's just a case of getting through the traffic. He might even win this.
Larkin has such a grip advantage. Look at him on the back of Tin Can. He's got so much more grip underneath him. Draws alongside, coming in at turn 23. And he gets the move done. Tin Can doesn't fight it. So Larkin up 4 places already. What a restart he has had. So far on the gap to the leader, he's just out of range of Verstappen, but he can pull that back. He's still got more tyre grip on him, as evidenced by that brilliant move on Tin Can then, as he sat on his rear wing all the way through that last sector. Verstappen still leading and stretching that advantage. He is flying here. Toxic struggling to stay with him. Matthias as well. He needs to pick this up there because he's struggling a little bit to hang with the top 2. Sweet Crown get a little bit quicker. Larkin with a penalty. That is critical now. And you said he's got a minute chance of getting a podium or getting a race win now. As I'm seeing further down the field there, there's Campbell and Nolan going side by side. Nolan holding that inside line. These guys were going at it on the last lap as well. But it's a great exit though from Campbell. Draws alongside Nolan. Is he going to commit to it into the Singapore Sling? He's going to back out of it. Nolan holding on to it. Great battles up and down the field. Amazing action on the safety car restart. But Verstappen still leads Toxic. Matthias struggling to hold on to it. He's got great pressure. Sweet Crown, Rocco and Larkin all honing in on a 3rd place man.
Yeah, Matthias, I think, honestly, got the worst restart out of everyone out on track. But look, Sweet Crown, Rocco, Larkin now onto the back of him. And it's all going to be Matthias for 3rd and the rest trying to get past, if I've got to be honest. And the last time I've just clicked on, last time I did commentate on a Matthias wins with the 24 Hours of F1 in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. Verstappen leading, Toxic in 2nd. Toxic really wants this and he's lost it. He's lost it coming out of turn 19. He has to cut across the curb. He rejoins just in front of Matthias as well. But now that brings Matthias back into play for possible 2nd position. If he can keep on to the back of Toxic and Verstappen gets away, he only needs to be within 3 seconds of Verstappen. Matthias could have this, you know.
Well, let's see if he can see this through the pressure mounting. Verstappen made an error going through turn 17. He got the rear end lost, and that's how Toxic reeled him in. But just a few corners later, Toxic made the same mistake, but even worse. He had to cut across, right across turn 20, and that cost him dearly. Nunes made an error. He must have spun that coming into turn 3 and has major damage then. Noon dropping it, and he's at a horror show today, but look at Larkin. He's now on the back of Rocco. Does he dive into turn 7? Yes, he does. Larkin going for it. Rocco pinches him to the inside line. Larkin finds the gap somehow. Has he gone through? The extra grip and some brilliant driving. Rocco left him almost no room at all, and somehow from somewhere Larkin's found it to get through. Now Sweetground he's nearly losing at turn 9. How on earth did Larkin do that? He's now inside the top 5.
He might have used Rocco as a bit of a braking marker there, but my god, he had guts and determination to get that one done. Larkin has got to be really now on the limit on the back of Sweetground. Through the hairpin they go once again after the Ensign Bridge, and Larkin is catching, but Supersofts are beginning to fall away. His progress now being limited as he comes through the field. Not going to get the move done on Sweetground into 14. Zerdamer, though, was right on the back of Dylan. Both in similar looking cars. One in the Carlin, of course, and Dylan, who I believe is in the Trident, if I'm not mistaken. And both of them are fighting for 8th and 9th position. Look at the penalty situation, though. Verstappen 3, Toxic 3, Sweetground 3, Larkin 3, Tinkan 3, Dylan's got 6, Nolan's got 3, Chill's got 6, and Noon has got 3. So currently is Josh. Now's the latest one to pick up a 3-second time penalty. It's all with Verstappen. Can he pull out the gap enough with that lap pressure tyres? With 2 laps to go, 1.4 seconds leading, he has got to put in the best 2 laps of his F2 career.
He has got 9/10 to make up on Matt's EU40, but Matt is still holding that DRS off of Toxic, who is dragging him along here. In that second and third place, Campbell gets another penalty. Nightmare race for the Scotsman. He's less out about it, the better. Can he recover in the sprint race? Larkin continues to fly. Has Sweetground in his sights, who does not have DRS to defend this then. So is the HWE on the attack again. Larkin chasing him down towards turn 7. He's going for the same move again. This time he gets right alongside the brakes very, very late, but he still gets the rip of Sweetground on the A's. Can Larkin get through? Yes, he does. Larkin continuing his phenomenal trajectory through the field as we got battles to go low further down. Nolan made him an error, and now Zerdamer down the inside of the turn. He gets through. He couldn't fight back to Nolan. He has to tuck it behind. I think we had Campbell and Shell battling away there. Shell's tires already falling away from us. I think Zerdamer is under pressure again. Nolan looks to the inside line, hangs back from us. Campbell closes up hugely into the Singapore sling, holds back for the move, is up in the front. Verstappen's lead continues to slowly but extend. What's happened with Nolan then? He's made an error to the back on south. Campbell to the inside into the hairpin then. They make contact several times through the exit. They are level pegging down the straight, but the DRS with Nolan and Chill looking to follow through as well. So can Chill get through? But look at the late braking from Campbell. Bravely running round the outside, and Chill gets alongside. They are 3 abreast in the third sector. Nolan has to get out of it. Campbell somehow is in front, and now Chill swipes across the front nose of Nolan. Fair play to all 3 of them for keeping it clean. Through goes Campbell, through goes Chill. Nolan had to yield it. What racing up near the front of the field, near the back of the field I should say, but they're still battling tooth and nail for it. Verstappen's lead is growing. It's now 2.6 seconds. This is coming down to the wire. Can he hold on to it?
Nolan's got more damage. Right-hand end plate, he lost it coming across the Anson Bridge section through that little hairpin. He just lost it through the left side, on the left side end plate through 11, then across the Anson Bridge into 12, and then 13 through the hairpin, and that's where you saw, of course, Campbell get the move done on him. But Verstappen, 1.4 seconds clear. Matthias is not on for the win, you know. 1.3 seconds, 1.4 to Toxic, 1.4 to Verstappen. It's going to be tight. Sweetground and Larkin going side by side. Sweetground, I think, has managed to find a way through. Rocco's from an absolute mile back. Dives it down the inside, gets the car stopped. Larkin's got damage, actually, on that left side end plate damage, I think. Rocco now is through and he's up into 5th. I think Larkin's hit the wall somewhere and has made a mistake. Might have got out of 4, I think, and lost that left side end plate damage.
Yeah, I did see it in place flying. It was coming out of turn 3 though, so he may have just I'm not sure how he's managed that, but he has got damage on the last lap, and Larkin's charge maybe coming to an end here. But Verstappen, I think, has made a slight mistake. We're going to go to the gap to the leader. Matthias is still on for this. 3/10 is the net gap then, but they can still change hands. Can Verstappen, he needs the last sector of his life here to pull this out then. It is going to come down to the absolute war. We have another thrill on our hands to end this race. How is Verstappen's last sector? We'll go over with the high tech then. Race wins eluded by the tiniest of margins in the past here in Formula 2. But I think Matthias made a mistake. Matthias has gone off and has that handed it to Verstappen right in the death. Is QBR Verstappen going to snatch this race win here? The gap's 3.4. He's good as it stands right now. Matthias is pushing it through this last sector, but it won't be enough. Has he lost it right in the death here? The gap's coming down though. It's all down to the last few corners. Verstappen runs it out on the exit. I think he's done enough. I think he snatched it right in the death. Toxic second on the road. Matthias just messes out. 3/10 is the gap. Just denied right at the end. Rocco gets 4th place, no penalties. Great drive from Rocco again. Sweet crowd 5th. Larkin has to settle for 2nd in the end. Last lap really working against him. Tenkan is 7th. Zanima 8th. Campbell 9th. Dylan 10th. Nolan 11th. Chell 12th. Josh 13th. And Noon will cross 14th. What an opening race of the evening. Verstappen's done it by the smallest of margins. He pits Matthias. You have to feel for Matthias, but what a great drive under pressure there for Verstappen. That's moving him ever closer to that championship fight.
Really great, and appropriately in Mazepin's car as well, but Verstappen winning out on track, definitely not Mazepin. Driver of the day on Larkin. He started, I think, 14th on the grid, and he put his way through, and he's in the 6th position right at the end of the race, unless the positions have changed. But to the top of the podium celebrations, we've still got the sprint race to come. God knows what the sprint race is like, and he's doing the Egyptian on the top of the step of the standings. Verstappen wins out on track, and we've got one more race to come.
Oh, certainly. I can't wait to see how that is going to come through it then. So Verstappen takes his 2nd victory of the season. He'll take, I think he'll take 2nd in the standings with that. So he is thrust right into the limelight. Toxic though, another solid performance. That's exactly what he needs to do. He's not dominating these races. He's not dominating them to the extent we saw last season, but he's just doing enough by being there on a solid basis. He couldn't quite get that 2nd place though. Matthias drove brilliantly, but it wasn't enough to snatch the race win. Verstappen on top today.
Yep, Verstappen winning from Matthias in 2nd. Toxic with the fastest lap as well in 3rd. Rocco for Sweet Crown in 5th. Great drive by Sweet Crown actually out on track, as well as Rocco. Hardly even mentioned them both. Larkin in 6th, Tinkan 7th, Zerba in 8th, Campbell 9th, Dylan 10th, Nolan 11th, Chill in 12th, Josh in 13th, Noon in 14th. Definitely ended more like midday rather than midnight out on track, and Miami in 15th.
Is that number 3 for the Noon puns so far tonight, James? I'm disappointed.
Unfortunately it is.
Well, I guess what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? But yeah, absolute thriller there, and of course, sprint race being reverse grid for the top 8 at least. Zerma will get the benefit of that then, and he nearly goes even further up then. Tenkan though on that front row, he's really impressed in some of the sprint races as well. Got a victory in Russia. In the sprint race, so he has another great shot at that. Tenkan on the front row with Zanima, who you have to say, after a torrid season so far, he's having a decent showing tonight and has a great chance of a good haul of points here in this final race of the evening.
Yeah, looking at the sprint race totals, actually, we've had 3 different winners in the sprint races this season. Verstappen, Tin Can, and Toxic. So it's going to be fascinating to see if any of those 3 can make it dual winners within the sprint races here. Also, with that feature race, I've got to be honest and say that we also had 3 different winners, now 4 different winners of the feature race this season. We've got Lando, Toxic, Lando, Toxic, Lando again, and then Verstappen. So 3 different ones. My apologies. But it's fascinating. Are we going to get a 4th different winner of this sprint race in this season? If that is the case, who is it going to be?
The season's been remarkably competitive so far, which is why the championship could come down to consistency more than anything else, and Lando not being tonight could pay to that. So Zanima on top on the grid here. Tenkan alongside him. Larkin P3. You sense he could have had more in that feature race, but he does have a good shot here, and amazingly...
What?
I think I've cloaked the same thing as you there, James. The mix and the tyre choices. Then, what on earth is going on? Surely those super softs don't go the distance.
Those super softs, I think, will go the distance, but they're going to be really worn towards the end of the race. So it's going to be a case of tyre management, I think, out on track for these guys. All of those on a set of super softs are Zerdemer, Toxic, Matthias, Verstappen, Nolan, Josh, Noon. So 7 drivers on the set of supers, 8 drivers on the set of softs. Tinkan, Larkin, Speedclimb, Rocco, Campbell, Dylan, Chill, and Miami. And hopefully Zerdemer, on that set of super soft compounded tyres, has he just landed himself the win even before we've started?
I'm baffled because I was always under the assumption that all the drivers were allocated just the hardest compound for a sprint race. So that's why I'm rather confused as to why this has come through. Then occasionally there seems to be occasionally there's an outlier that goes for the softest set, but never anything like this when the field is split in two pretty much entirely. I'm not sure if the drivers did this off their own back or if they were just forced onto it by the game. This is rather confusing though, and it adds a dynamic to the sprint race that we've not seen before here in Formula 2.
Yeah, it could be worse though. You could have a full wet race like Mike is doing, still in that feature race, and they've got another safety car out on track, so it's literally like TTML Belgium. I think I could describe Division 2 as currently. They're just starting onto lap 14, back under green flag racing. Dirt Team leads the way, RGDW second, Maverick in third. If you want to tune in for that, do so. If you don't, just stay here. Why not? We are here though, with 12 laps awaiting these drivers out on track. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Hoggard, a bit of role reversal. Who's your top 3?
I'm going to go with Larkin for the race win here. I'm going to see Rocco for second and actually scratch that, Toxic for second and Rocco for third. We'll see how that goes then. But yeah, I think that there's difference in strategy calls. I'm not whether they're deliberate or accidental for the drivers. It makes for this sprint race being one of the most fascinating we've seen so far.
It is going to be fascinating, and you're in the best capable hands of myself and Daniel Hoggard, taking you through the action, of course. We are about to get going. 5 red lights are about to go out here in Singapore for the sprint race. A little bit of weaving there from Tinkan, but it's lights and away we go. Good start by Zerdemer, good start by Tinkan. Pretty even on the start. Rocco's got a good start down into 6th position already. Tries to go all the way around the outside of 3 of them.
No way!
Rocco's around the outside of 3 of them. What a move that is! He could go around 4 of them. Tinkan's on the inside line. Rocco on the outside. That is an absolute insane move from Rocco. One of the best moves I've ever seen, and now he's down the inside of Tinkan. He is really committed on this start. He gets second as well. Rocco is absolutely mincing his way through the field. There's contact, and Matthias has been caught in a bit of contact. I think with Dylan maybe there, but certainly Zerdemer leads through the first sector.
Oh, contact again!
Race. But Rocco in sector, and there's more contact further down the field. Was that Chill in Miami coming into contact there?
Yeah, that Chill ended up in the wall then. My jaw just hit the floor. Rocco, that move around the outside of turn 1 is one of the most outrageous things I've ever seen in league racing. What on earth has he done there? He's put himself straight up into the firing line then, in the mix here in this race. What on earth has NSX Rocco just pulled off? Got yellows again, another crop. Dylan, I think he's going off there. They're at turn 9. It's a manic start. It's Toxic now. Looking, I think, almost into the back of Larkin.
Into the back.
And did he run into the back? Has he got damage as the championship leader? He is now going to be ailing in this race. Verstappen tucked him behind, can't find a way through. Toxic again late on the brakes, but that is going to cost him so dearly. I'm looking at his car. Actually, I don't see anything visually. I think he may have gotten away with it. I'm not sure if you're seeing anything different there, but Toxic is just fine for me.
Yeah, he has. He ran into the back of Larkin coming through the hairpin at the Anderson Bridge, but he went straight into the back of him rather than a little bit of aim play on the back of a tyre, for example. But Zerdemer leading the way. My good God. Rocco. Speechless. Absolutely speechless for that move. We got 4 cars within 4 corners out on track. Larkin, though, is in behind on Tinkan. There's a little bit of a timing glitch to the left-hand side, but Zerdemer leading. He's only 6 tenths clear of Rocco out on top. And Rocco, I'm absolutely flabbergasted by that move. That is honestly, as you said, one of the best. I think that's one of the best moves I've seen in league racing, period.
That was staggering, and he has a great chance of winning that sprint race now. You can see the strength of the soft tires, even so early on in this race. He's got moves as well, though, as I think that's just the timings sorting themselves out. See Toxic, though, on Larkin, forces Larkin off the track, stays ahead, though. Does he dive to the inside of Toxic? Larkin pinches him onto the curb, he's not having any of that. Now, Verstappen running it round the outside, that's the inside lane at turn 9 then. Toxic squeezes him again. Toxic really getting the elbows out then. Verstappen had to yield that. Toxic, I think that was just a bit too ambitious there. Larkin had every right to close the door on him, and Toxic had to yield that place. I couldn't get through. He's going to have to charge again then if he wants better than 5th place. Toxic, though, seems to be all over the road at the moment there. He's really struggling to move forward. He runs away again. Nearly hits Larkin for the 2nd time in this race.
Yeah, he ran into the back of him again out on track. He's just got to be really careful. It's something that we saw Rocco do, honestly, on the first lap, where he was being quite over-aggressive in towards turn 1. He managed to get around the outside of 3 cars, albeit, but Toxic's just been a little bit aggressive. He really wants this, I think, in terms of trying to pull out that championship lead, but he's got to be careful. Quality of action is better than the quantity of action is better than the quality, I think, of the action, and that's what the driving standards have got to be. We want to see really good driving standards, so Toxic has just got to calm it down slightly. He doesn't want to go over braking into the corner, cause both him and Larkin damage, and then possibly bring Verstappen and Campbell into it as well.
Yeah, but these guys are all so competitive, they'll do anything to gain an edge on each other. You can see they're all queuing up behind Tin Can then, who struggled a little bit to keep with the blistering pace of the top 2 early on in this race. I have not seen this from Rocco. Where has this come from? He is now hounding Zerima again, hunting for the race win. When those tires especially come into their window. But now we're going to start bunching up further down the order then. Toxic is again pretty close to the rear wing of Larkin, but he's too far away to go for a move. He looks to the inside line. He's very confident on the brakes as Toxic, but he does not get through the gaps. It's a little bit too big on this occasion. Further down the field though, no one's gone off. No one's spun it, I think, on the, is that on the entry? No, he's gone straight on going into turn 7 then. Very confusing, and now VSC deployed, neutralising the race. If you look at the mini-map, Nolan's quite some way off the road there on the exit. His car is sideways. It's up against the barrier, like Pascal Wehrlein in Monaco that one year, or Nico Hulkenberg in Abu Dhabi. What on earth is going on there? Nolan has a contact. Why on earth is he in the wall in that manner? That's bizarre.
I can only think 2 options. One, he's had contact with somebody and has been rear-ended and has gone literally straight on into the wall. Or there's been a controller or a wheel disconnect and he's gone into the wall that way. He's left the session, which means he's left under his own volition. So that means Nolan is now out of the race. So unfortunate. But Tyres and Chill, by the way, obviously came into the pits after lap 1 contact. They're down in 14th and 15th. They're going to be 13th and 14th. When they see Chill's car, down into, well, Chill's car's gone now. Drive-through penalty for Miami, drive-through penalty for Noon, I think, as well, and all of that. It's Toxic is right on the back of Larkin. He really wants this as he comes through the grandstand, underneath the grandstand once again. Out on track with Zerdema lead, Rocco 2nd, Tin Can 3rd, Larkin 4th, Toxic in 5th, Verstappen, Campbell and Sweet Crown, then it's Noon and then Miami, but Miami with a 3-second time penalty, with a drive-through as well. Noon with a drive-through as well, opens up all sorts of possibilities, as now Toxic's on the back of Larkin once again.
He looks at an inside line there and he's ever threatening on the back of Larkin, but Larkin rising to it will hold his line and keep a hold of that 4th place for the time being. He let a gap of it up to Tin Can, who was a bit more marginal on that VSC, but got away with it now, running at a comfortable 3rd place out there on the road. Verstappen as well as rallying the feature race winner, trying to make his mark then and chasing down Toxic yet again. You can see this DRS right as restricting overtaking as Rocco getting very close to Zerima. Doesn't quite go for the move as of yet, but he is looking ever quicker then. Look at him, he's to the outside going into turn 8. He doesn't make this move again, though this time he's caught by Zerima. Verstappen's gone off, I think. Verstappen at turn 8 then. I think he spun it around. I'm not sure what manner that's happened, but he's down into 8th place now, losing several spots out there on the roads. And Verstappen now further down the field. It's almost a nightmare out there. Look at Rocco though. He is hounding Zerima. Zerima is covering him off for the time being, but for how much longer can he hold it back? We're not even a third of the way through this race, and Rocco is throwing everything at him already. And a turn 13, great exit from Zerima. He'll keep it going and keep that fight going for yet another day, but Rocco hounding him. You said it's only a matter of time before the Trident driver gets through there. Zernima's under heavy pressure, and we're not even a third of the way through the race.
Yeah, Rocco really handing the back of Zerdimer, but Zerdimer is really defending well as well. And that's the problem for Rocco. He's got to try and find a way through now. Tin Can is 2 seconds behind him. You saw the gap come down to 1.8 just then. Now it's down to 1.8, and now Rocco's got a problem because Tin Can and Larkin are going to be hunting him down. Likewise with Toxic, likewise with Campbell, and there's penalties to come into the fray as well. So it's going to be fascinating to see as now Rocco right on the back of Zerdimer out of the final 2 corners through 22 and 23. Rocco, though, has to find a way through, and to be honest, it has to be now as Verstappen has gone through and is coming into the pit lane. Him and Miami are in.
Yeah, Miami, of course, with a drive-through penalty that Noon served on the last lap there. Verstappen coming in because I believe he did have wing damage. So these guys probably just opting for fastest lap in this race. Zerdimer is doing a great job of going slow and fast out through these critical corners, keeping Rocco behind, but Rocco again is going to close up to him. Heading into turn 7 is the Carlin going to defend this one. He looks to the inside line. Rocco dummies him, going to the inside line, but this time he's going to get covered over, I think. Round the outside, Zerdimer will hold on to it. Rocco tries to draw alongside, heading into turn 8 and running the long way round. Zerdimer has to give him the space. He tries to go the long way round. He gets the inside into turn 9. Is it going to be another brilliant, sensational move for Rocco? Zerdimer coming back at him, has a bit more momentum. There's a Dutchman on the exit. Can he run it round? And the Singapore Sling, they're going to be almost side by side. Zerdimer, gutsy defence, will hold on to that place just in front of Rocco. These guys fighting so hard and so violently out there on the track. It's nice and clean, but my oh my is it fierce. And what it's doing now, Tin Can, Larkin, Toxic, Campbell, this train are all holding them in, and now Tin Can is flirting with DRS reaching the top 2. They've come right back into this race.
Yeah, Zerdimer really handing off the attention, but that's what I said literally half a lap ago. Rocco was going to try and find a way through in Zerdimer. But now Tin Can and Larkin are pretty much within a second, I think, and they're within DRS range. So add to that now a 6-car DRS train, and then you've got trouble. If you've got trouble, you've got Zerdimer out in front, and he's going to be leading this with Rocco second, Tin Can third, Larkin, Toxic, Campbell, the 2 Universals. He's trying to find a way through, but yellow flag in sector 3. Oh, and that's Campbell round. Campbell has run. I think he's lost it by himself on the exit of turn 19, I think.
And that's 2 former teammates, Campbell and Verstappen, both having offs in this race. Campbell's one a bit less severe, and he can keep on the fight, but he's dropped a little bit further down in the order. He's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants any significant points. We're going to turn our attentions back to the front of the field, though, as Zerdimer still valiantly holding on to the lead, but for how much longer can he do that as we approach half distance? Here we go now, going through turn 5. How's the exit for the top 2? Looks like it was decent from the pair of them. DRS again for Rocco, but I think he's a bit further back on this lap. Does he have the same chances of going for the move? Zerdimer covers the inside slightly, will hold on to it. Tin Can still struggling to really get up to him. As a poor exit from Zerdimer, and Rocco to the inside and turn in then. Can he get it stopped and turn in? He forced it towards the wall. Wheel to wheel racing between them, and this time Rocco gets through. There was a little bit of argy-bargy, but NSX Rocco, with one of the best overtakes I ever saw in the start of the race, continues his pressure, continues his charge, now to the front. He hits the front end of the race, continuing. He'll try and move away now from Excel Zerdimer, whose tyres will start to degrade over the next few laps. Can Zerdimer fight back? Well, he still has a chance. Rocco slow and fast out through turn 13, punches away. He has this race lead now, as Larkin now looking to Tin Can. Doesn't get close enough for the move going into turn 14, but he's also threatening. Rocco has done the near impossible so far in this race. He's gone from fifth to first. Triple move at the start of this race. Now he has the race lead. Rocco now looks in imperious form. Can anyone stop the Trident driver? He looks set for a race win here in Singapore.
Zerdimer's definitely fighting back though. That set of supers are beginning to come back into its own, but Rocco leading the way, Zerdimer in second, and they're about a second clear of Tin Can. 1.1 seconds now as Toxic picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting through turn 21 there, as Rocco out of the final corner has got a 6.5 tenth lead as they come across. Toxic runs wide again coming out the final corner. Sweetcrown's not too far off, he's 2 seconds behind. He's got clear air, but clear air is a problem around this track because you're just going to be catching onto the back of the guys in front of you. So Sweetcrown has got to be careful. All of this Constantina that might happen within the next 6 laps will bring Sweetcrown into it, but he's going to be at the back of an ever-increasing train as Zerdimer just gets caught wide out of turn 4. But now Rocco really beginning to try and excel out on track. Speaking of excel, Larkin trying to chase down Tin Can, but he's not too close enough down to the back in towards turn 7.
Tin Can looks pretty comfortable up in that third place, it must be said. Larkin throwing everything at him, but he can't quite get through as long as Tin Can holds the DRS of Zernema, who is beginning to lose contact. Verstappen predictably sets the fast lap of the race on fresh, soft tyres, looking to charge his way through. And we've got to look out for the Super Softs and how they're going to continue to progress throughout the remainder of this race. I'm already beginning to see a little bit of struggling out there as Zernema losing the rear end a little bit going through turn 12, but he is going to maintain that second spot for now and still has DRS, that benefit from the drag reduction system off of the race leader NSX Rocco. You can still see everyone then in that trade though, but Toxic is beginning to struggle. I think he's made an error on this lap and he's now out of range, and Sweetcrown coming up towards him. I don't know if this was an intentional call for everyone to go in the Super Softs, but they already look to be the slower tyre quite considerably in this race, as Toxic has been caught more than half a second by Sweetcrown behind on this lap so far.
They're doing it on terrain. It's
Oh
starting to
my
rain
word.
out on track. I've just seen the rain beginning to fall. It's literally just came on, coming through turn 17. And now, this is going to be fascinating. The rain is now beginning to fall. I wonder this is why Zerdema and Toxic and the likes were on a set of super soft compounder tyre. Because they knew it was going to rain towards the end of the race. We're only on to lap 8 now. 5 laps around here. If it's 10 minutes of light rain, this track is going to be really, really greasy. Certainly inters by the end of this race.
I'm looking at Rocco aboard, and you can already see the tyres scrubbing into turn 3. The rear tyres screaming through turn 4, and not even a difficult traction zone there. So these wet conditions now really coming into play, and the rain already coming down. My oh my, this is throwing this race right open here. Josh looks to have taken the gamble. Larkin him attacking Tin Can. Does he finally get the move done this time? To the inside line. Breaks much later. And now Larkin's going to squeeze him out. Tin Can forced a little bit wide. He's not giving it up. He does, though, yield it on the entry in a turn 8. As Zernema really struggling. DRS disabled already. We've not even had a lap of rain, but it's come down so heavily. And it's full wet tyres. Of course, there's no inters in Formula 2 cars. So these guys going straight to wet.
Under pressure.
This is now Zernema's made a mistake and now Larkin down the inside. It's going to be 2 in 1 lap for Larkin.
Oh
Again, he
God.
runs it out wide. You can see the lack of traction these guys are all enduring. I think they're going to have to come on out in this lap. The wet tyres have already got so much more grip. Look at Josh, and wait, he's catching Dylan up ahead then. These conditions have thrown this race wide open. Matthias going off. A nightmare race for him here in the sprint race. It's going to be such a busy pit lane then. This race has been wide open here.
Josh, on a set of wets, has already caught a second, 2 seconds now on Dylan. And this is just through the first sector alone. If Josh continues this pace up, he might be leading this.
Into the wall, Toxic! Toxic run wide at turn 14 of the car, just dead in turn. That's the level of grip these guys
Dylan
now
round.
have. And Dylan now round. These guys have zero grip. How has the rain
God.
come down this heavily? It's almost monsoon type conditions out there on the track. You can see how the shine of the track. The wet line's going to be forming soon. This is unbelievable, and look at Toxic, the amount that he is struggling. He's got nothing left for grip. Everyone surely going to be into the pit lane as Rocco from the race lead crawls in, nearly hits the wall at the entrance of the pit lane. The Trident will keep it on. This race, my oh my, wet conditions, they come in and nowhere. What race the rain came down. Everyone's in, and Josh now moves past Dylan. He's caught 20 seconds on an entire lap. Granted, Dylan did have enough, but the gap in tyre performance is just astounding, and now everyone in the pit lane.
Oh,
what on
Rocco's been
earth
held.
is this race? And Rocco's held. Does that change the lead of the race? He is out there at the front, but that
Lost
lead
some
is going to
time.
get cut down. That lead is getting cut down then, as now Larkin into that second place, trying to chase him down. I know Larkin's good in the way. Rocco, though, will still have the edge. Rocco, I'm overwhelmed by this race. James, what on earth has happened? The rain's coming down at such an astonishing rate here.
It is so heavy out on track. It's pretty much really changeable. Like we saw with Singapore in real life back in the day. I think it was in 2017, 2018, where we had that famous crash with Verstappen, Raikkonen, Vettel, et al. But Rocco leads the way by 4 seconds here in Formula 2. We're now on to lap 9 out of 12. Unbelievably, now going to be 2-minute lap times. Out on track is now Tin Can has got the move on Zerdema. Is he going to try and close up for this move, I should say? Down towards turn 7, not quite close enough. Zerdimer really fighting the car. I think he's got a dry setup on that car, possibly, but Rocco leading. Larkin second. Zerdimer nearly into the wall, and Tin Can's now going to get the superior traction around the outside. Look at Toxic as well. Toxic's got a better run on both of them. He's into the back of Tin Can, and now he switches to the inside line. Toxic's going to get both of them. One run down, wants to take a full swing. Toxic down the inside line has got both of them. It's like Rocco S standing towards turn 1. Toxic is through. Both of them made a bit of contact. Toxic, signed, sealed, delivered, gets 2 moves for the price of 1, and he's soon up into 3rd.
Unbelievable! Toxic double move. Their opportunism at its finest, but he does run way through the hairpin, picks it back up and exit. He's away up in a 3rd place then. Stellar from Toxic. Now he has to pull out that gap from the cars behind because he does have that time penalty to his name. It's Zerdimer that looks to be struggling more than anyone here then to get to grips with these conditions. You can see he's going to be fighting that car all the way through, and Sweet Crown now really went. So Zerdimer, the early race leader, really struggling out there. Just can't quite find the grips of all these wet conditions, and Sweet Crown is really at such a rate of knots. He is now with this train. Sweet Crown looks superb in these wet conditions. Can he make the most of it though? Up in the front, Rocco now has a comfortable lead. He is 4 seconds clear, and the rain continuing to come down. We're definitely not going to see any tire changes. It's absolutely astounding how fast the rain has just completely changed the course of this race. Rocco leads. He's well clear of Larkin behind, and the battle is now really over that 3rd place. Toxic is some way back, and the question is now, can he in the last 3 laps pull a 3-second gap of the chasing back behind? Tin Can's out of a Sweet Crown all within his range. He's going to try and pull that gap out though if he wants to retain his near perfect podium record, but he has damage on that car.
He does have damage on that car, and it's so unfortunate. I think he has got damage on that car because now he's going to be really under pressure. But it is Rocco who does lead the way. 3.7 seconds gap is coming down. Look at how heavy the rain is, and look at how Rocco's one wide coming through turn 7 there. Goodness me, there's a bit of time. There's a bit of right side end plate damage actually to the right hand side of the track there. Not sure that's off. Larkin having a bit of a moment. Toxic having a bit of a moment as well, coming in towards 7. It is absolutely bottomless conditions out on track. Toxic is literally Tokyo drifting his way through these corners. I wish he was in the streets of Tokyo to try and get this move, but Toxic 4.3 seconds up. Tin Can in 4th. There's Zerdimer, and there's Sweet Crown as well. Sweet Crown looking superior. I think Sweet Crown is probably one of the better, quicker drivers, I think, in these wet conditions, and that's why he's catching up, because we saw it in, I think it was a Division 5 race, I think last season where he was in, or a race certainly last season, where he absolutely excelled out on track, and now he's trying to excel, trying to catch the 2 excel guys out on track. How many excels can you use in one sentence?
Quite a lot apparently, but they are beginning to spread out. Their Zerdimer struggling more than most, but I think there's a bit of a turbulent weight behind the car. Zerdimer running wide again through turn 14, but you can see the kind of weight behind the cars is stopping these guys from following too closely, so overtaking, especially without DRS, is going to be mega difficult out there. I saw Tin Can ran a little bit wide though, going through turn 17. Is Zerdimer a bit of a snap going into turn 18, so that is the difficulty of these conditions. They're all trying to find it. Larkin though looks like he is really on it, because he's caught at least half a second on Rocco up the road. Rocco though just has to hold on for 2 more laps, and for 5th on the grid. He's pulled off some astounding overtakes in this race. He might not have got to grips with the wet conditions quite as well as Larkin has behind, but he has enough in hand that he can just take his time, adapt to the conditions, and just drive it home for what will be a stunning race victory for NSX Rocco, who's gone from strength to strength in the early part of this season.
Yeah, Rocco honestly has really excelled, I think, out on track, and Larkin trying to chase him down. The gap is closing to an extent, but it's not closing enough, I don't think, to really affect the result, unless Rocco picks up a 3-second time penalty. Josh with another 3-second time penalty. It's his first of this race, his second of the night, but Rocco leading the way from Larkin in 2nd, Toxic in 3rd, and now we have reached breaking point, I think, because there's now no battles out on track. So just sit back, relax, enjoy the final 2 laps with hardly any commentary.
Well, maybe we'll try and carry it along there. So Zerdimer running wide there, going through turn 7. So he is still struggling out there, maybe just missing a few braking points. Toxic is making even wet damage. His wet pace looks incredible here, and he might yet get a podium the way things are going. That double overtake might well have saved him here, because he's got much more pace than all the guys behind him. Toxic has really got to grips with this. He's actually matching the race leaders as it stands. He's nearly as quick as Larkin. I think he is as quick as Rocco up front. So Toxic showing his class here, and he's looking at another double podium finish. Just that sheer consistency, not making mistakes. Well, he has made some mistakes, but he's managed to recover from them and keep him alive. He's not wrapped up that podium just yet. Tin Can has still got a fighting chance of it, don't get me wrong. 2.2 seconds the gap, but Toxic, if he could just keep that going for one lap more, he may yet get third, or at least he's going to get fourth. And having got a penalty, having started further down the field, having struggled to move forward throughout the majority of this race, that'll be a good day's work for Toxic, but he gets incredibly close to the wall into the grandstands. He's not in the woods just yet. He's going to have to keep it clean here for 23 more corners, and that goes for everyone as Rocco's getting reeled in there. So Matthias went off again, but up in the front, Rocco, the gap is coming down. One more lap to keep it clean around such a difficult track in such difficult conditions. You have to feel for the drivers. They're going to have to keep their heads on, keep focused, because there's still so much challenge in front of him. Can Rocco hold on for a brilliant race victory here in Singapore?
He probably can. Chill's retired as well out on track, and that's going down into the Singapore Sling where he's crashed. But Rocco leading the way, Larkin in second, 2.3 seconds. Rocco's literally not got to put it over the white line anywhere out on track. It's difficult to do going through the curves. There's another spinner as well. Noon is now round, coming through turn 20 and 21. So unfortunate. Campbell is through on Josh. There's all sorts of moves happening up and down the field, but Rocco has absolutely driven this race to absolute perfection. That three-way move through turn 1, around the outside of turn 1, I may add as well, is one of the best league racing moves I think I've ever seen.
I'm going to jump straight into his messages after this race to ask him how on earth he pulled that off. He just about kept it on the track as well. It was absolutely stunning. I thought he was going to run straight on the amount of speed he was carrying in there, but he made it work. And now he is headed for a race victory here. Larkin is chasing him down. He's giving it everything, but he's just going to run out of time. Matthew 40 after a brilliant feature race. It's been a sprint race to forget for him. Another penalty to go along to his woes there. And I think Dylan's gone off. I know that's Noon off again.
On the straight.
My oh my, that's aquaplaning. That shows the challenge of these conditions. Stretches everywhere. Noon's gone off yet again in that car. They can see him struggling to gather that car underneath him. He's had a nightmare race as well. We've seen so many mistakes in these wet conditions. You have to sympathise with the drivers, but Rocco has not put a foot wrong, and he's almost there for a first race victory, a second podium. Brilliant drive from Rocco. He's putting himself right in the hunt here. He was 5th in the championship going into this round. He's had another stonking night, and now he is looking for it yet again. He had a solid enough feature race, but a sprint race, he's gone to new levels as long as he keeps it clean. We're in the final corner. ASX Rocco crosses to win the sprint race here in Singapore. Larkin, solid drive, gets second, and Toxic is just about, I think, who's going to pull it back over the line. Toxic holds on to it by a 10th of a second. Great last lap from Toxic. He had nearly a second to make up, but he did it. Zonema 5th, Sweet Crown 6th, Campbell 7th after a track that suited him so well in the past. Has it tonight. He's going to have to settle for 7th place. Josh will come through 8th, from Miami 9th, Verstappen 10th, Noon 11th, Dylan 12th, and in the end, Matthias is going to cross in 13th place. What a night of action we've been treated to then. Stunning race goal up in. Noon's gone off again on this last lap. Had a nightmare, and actually Dylan is going to try and hunt him down to the flag. Rocco though wins today, and he's putting himself right into the thick of things then. He'll be, of course, I think he'll be close to that second place in the standings.
He will be very close, that second place in the standings, and looking as well, Rocco makes that 4 different winners in the sprint race this season. Dylan spins his way around the final corner and crashes coming across the line. Matthias, we're just waiting on, might be waiting until Christmas, I think, at this rate for him to get home. But he will get on nonetheless, or will he, as he just did, he crashed coming through 16, as now he comes through 16 and then through 17. But Rocco out on top, Larkin second, Toxic in third. And we are now waiting for Matthias, who I think is having a bit of fun, to be honest, out on track. He's trying to drift and he's trying to show off for the cameras. Don't show off, just make it home.
Yeah, well, you got to put on a show at least. He's got nothing to gain, got nothing to lose in a race that has gone very disastrously wrong for him. Now, to the line. This has been a phenomenal night of racing. It's been thoroughly enjoyable to cover as Matthias is going to wrap things up. He does run off at the final corner. Crosses there to cap off the finishers. fantastic night of racing. The feature race went the way of Verstappen, the sprint race the way of Rocco. Miami gets driver of the day rather peculiarly, I think, then, and it's driver of the day for both the HWA drivers across the two races. But you James, but that is going to wrap things up for tonight. And I'm still recovering from that unthinkable move from Rocco at turn 1. I'm still recovering from that. My jaw is still on the floor after that.
That was the move, ultimately, that won him the race. It's as simple as that. That was also the move that'll go down in league racing history as probably one of the best I've seen at Singapore, if not in league racing full stop, because that was just absolutely insane. I really hope he gets on the League of Europe stream tonight, clips that, puts it up on Twitter, gives us credit for our commentary, and that'll be fantastic, and that'll be shared with the whole league racing community. But that is it. Rocco, out on top. He deserves it out on track. From Larkin in second. Toxic with a very peculiar 54.3 for fastest lap of the race, even though Rocco was quicker than him. Doesn't make sense. Tin Can in fourth. Zerdimer in fifth. I think Zerdimer actually might have got the fastest lap. It was Verstappen, sorry, that got fastest lap, I think. Zerdimer in fifth. Sweetpan in sixth. Campbell seventh. Josh in eighth. Miami in ninth. Verstappen in 10th. Noon, Dylan, Matthias all make it round. Chill and Nolan not making it round. Nolan upside down in the barrier pretty much. But Rocco taking it lock in second and Toxic in third position. And in terms of the weekend, Toxic outscoring Verstappen and Rocco by 4 points.
Yeah, so he's put himself into an ever stronger championship position. Hasn't won a race this evening, but just, keeps it consistent, keeps it solid. And that is what's winning him this championship right now. In the past, Toxic, he's had just general pace over everyone. Even though he's made a lot of mistakes in the past, he's been able to offset that with just a series of dominant drives. He hasn't had those dominant drives really throughout this season. He inherited a Russian feature race victory after Lando got penalties, or I think after Toxic got a penalty removed in the end. China, he was pretty dominant, to be fair, but China, I'd say, is the only race this season that he's ran away with. But just that sheer consistency, picking up the points where he can, whereas rivals haven't. Lando's missed around, and his sprint races have been rather poor. Verstappen has had three fairly miserable races so far. So it comes down to it then. Toxic is just racking up points more consistently than anyone else, but you said that he's going to have a tough time of it going into Monaco, which could throw up yet again a few shock results there. Monaco, my oh my, that is going to be a chaotic evening.
If you thought Singapore was bad, Monaco's just going to be an absolute shit show.
Yes, this is a family show though, James, but we appreciate the
Tune out kids for that.
Well, yeah, I think there's not much more to... Actually, I will come to you quickly, James, before we cap things off for tonight. Just come to you quickly. Who would you say is your driver of the day?
Rocco. Simple.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you there. A very strong, solid performance in the feature race, and of course the sprint race. Well, I think we've expressed our feelings towards what on earth he pulled off then, gaining 3 places on the opening lap. Absolutely stunning. I don't think I'll forget that for some time. Anyway, I think that is going to be it for tonight. Of course, as for the absolutely chaotic real world situation that we have going on right now, please stay safe, stick to guidelines. And yes, we will all get through this together, I'm sure, eventually. But yes, please make sure you're keeping yourselves healthy and staying around for as long as we possibly can. And also keep tuning in for this week of League of Europe. Of course, the Formula 1 League is going to be on later this week, every Saturday. Sorry, what's this?
I went woo.
Yes, I'm not as good at this promotional thing as you are, it must be said, but I'll do my best. At 6:40 p.m. UK time, you'll have Division 1, which is you can we can bring that up. And of course, at the same time, you also have Division 3 and Division 4 at 8:10 UK time. You're going to have the best division, Division 2, and Division 5 as well at that time. Stay tuned for that. And more great action. We've got an ACC League now in League of Europe. The times look very positive for the future of this league. And if you're interested in the F1 leagues. The team and driver reveal for all the F1 divisions is going to be out tomorrow, I believe. So please keep an eye out for that. And yes, all the teams are going to be revealed. So yes, please stay tuned. I know that everyone in the league and the Discord has been obsessing over that. Everyone is so eager to see where it'll end up. But I think that is going to round off the action for tonight here at a phenomenal night of action at Singapore. We'll see how Monaco throws up for us then, if there's going to be any surprises. So, with everything said and done, I've been Daniel Hoggard. He's been James Head, and until next time, we'll see you later.